The N64 is considered to be one of the definitions of nostalgic video game. There were 4 definitive platformers on the N64: Super Mario 64, Banjo Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. All 4 of these games are considered the best games on the platform by many, and even of all time. But which one is the best out of all of them? All of them have their strengths and weaknesses, but I still say it's fair to compare them. How this rant will work is I will award the best 4 points, second best 3 points, third gets 2 points, and fourth only gets 1 point. Also, I am not looking at sequels, spin-offs, remakes, or remasterings here. I am looking at the original games. Now with all that said, let's go! Rare really knew how to make their characters hilarious and quirky. My favorite characters by far are the ones from Banjo Kazooie, specifically Gruntilda and Kazooie. These two just have so much personality. Gruntilda's rhyming and backstory are just hilarious, and I love how Kazooie just mouths off to everybody. Donkey Kong 64 comes in second for having less developed characters, but a lot of them. Conker's characters also have personality, but most of them are just throwaway for jokes and don't really leave much of an impression. And Mario has... Mario. In terms of most fun and creativity, I find Super Mario 64's levels to be the best. They are perfectly sized, having a great balance between linearity and exploration, a pleasure and a slight challenge to go through. The only thing that really bothers me about them is the thematic clones, and that really bugs me. Donkey Kong 64 has come in second with imaginative and expansive, though a little too expansive levels. Banjo Kazooie's worlds are really small and constrained, and to be honest, not very memorable. And the later levels made me feel that Rare was getting a bit lazy. What's actually bad are Conker's Bad Fur Days levels, having some very frustrating sections. Falling off of something that took 10 minutes to climb up can be pretty infuriating. Also, some uninspired locales don't help it too much. Yeah, Conker takes this one, but hear me out. I'm going with which game made me laugh the hardest, and yes, Conker wins. I mean, really, the game opens referencing A Clockwork Orange. There are references to The Terminator, Matrix, Saving Private Ryan, Jaws, Wizard of Oz, Godfather, Dracula, Exorcist. Heck, the final boss is a freaking xenomorph! But a lot of times the humor can get grating. I mean really, really grating. I'm dead serious here. There were times when I wasn't sure if I wanted to puke because of how bad the joke was or how disgusting the joke was. And a lot of times the jokes are so immature to the point of being lame.
See that button there? Yeah. The one with the... Yeah.
Really Rare? A third grader would laugh at that. But still, Conker as a whole made me laugh the hardest. Banjo Kazooie managed to grab the second spot because of the constant laughter provided by Kazooie's sass, Gruntilda's revolting rhyming, and the sheer hilarity you find yourself in. Also, I love the Animaniacs-style subtle adult humor.
Good night, everybody.
Donkey Kong gets third because Mario pretty much has no humor at all. Oh, this was a hard one, because all of them have very, very good and memorable songs. But here's what I picked them based on: memorability, catchiness, diversity/uniqueness, and how they're used. And in this area, Donkey Kong wins. It just has the most unique and memorable tracks, and the way they are used is just perfect. Banjo comes in second for having some very, very, very good songs, but just not as much as Donkey Kong 64. Mario comes in third because of 2 things. 1, a lot of the music is just the same tune with different tempo and instruments, and our good old Mario cliche, unnecessarily repeating music makes a cameo! And Conker comes in fourth for really having only one song that stuck out. And when I mean stuck out, I mean stuck out. But that's about it. Mario 64 set a lot of standards with its innovative gameplay that still holds up today. You really feel in control of Mario, and the cheat falls and deaths are kept to a minimum. The power-ups are also a joy to use as well. Conker gets second place for keeping it simple and reserving the complicated stuff for the very clever context-specific platforms, in which you shift into whatever Conker needs at that particular moment, causing the more clever parts of Conker's humor to take form. Banjo's gameplay simply just gets the job done. Nothing too exciting, but thankfully it's nothing frustrating, which is good for it. But what both Banjo and Conker have that annoyed the living crap out of me is that they can't fall 5 feet without losing health. And Donkey Kong has quite a few fatal errors. Unnecessary abilities, annoying minigames, and the backtracking is murder! Okay, this was another hard one because their art styles are very comparable to one another. But if you had to force me to choose, I'd have to pick Donkey Kong 64's. I just love how its themes are very elaborate for the tone it creates for each section of the game. Banjo Kazooie, again, comes in a close second for establishing its tone very well, the happy adventure. But it just really doesn't go above and beyond with it, and that's why it's at number 2. Super Mario 64 takes its iconic characters and uses them in some pretty creative ways, but just not as good as Banjo Kazooie does. And Conker pretty much just sticks googly eyes on inanimate objects and reuses the same rare art style we can easily recognize, and that is not in the game's favor either. Conker takes this one by storm for its boss battles just being so memorable and fun. The Great Mighty Pooh and the Jetboard race are just too awesome. Donkey Kong would have taken this one if not for repeating Dogadon and Armadillo, and you all know how much I love repeating bosses. Mario comes in third for having good but not great boss battles, and Banjo has Gruntilda. Super Mario 64 has the challenge of getting all 120 stars, adding a lot of depth to the game and lasting you about a month. Conker will round you about 2 days flat, and even with the multiplayer, it's still kind of on the shallow side. Final score. In conclusion, Mario is the basic platformer, simple yet effective. Banjo, on the other hand, really has a little bit of everything, giving you a complete experience. Conker is by far the most entertaining out of all the lot, but Donkey Kong is really the most elaborate and complex of the games, and that is why, in my opinion, it is the best of the 4.
I am directly below the enemy scrotum.